Welcome to the English audiobook. Have you ever stayed awake at night, staring at the ceiling, and asked yourself this question? Is the meaning of my life just to wake up in the morning, grind through work all day, pay some bills, feel a little happiness and sorrow, and then quietly leave this world one day? Are we on this tiny planet, smaller than a speck of dust in an infinite universe filled with billions of stars, just a biological accident? A biological machine that runs for a few years and then shuts down forever? If these questions have created a strange restlessness, an emptiness inside you, then you are not alone. You are standing at the door of a dangerous and deep truth, one that the world calls nihilism. It is the idea that life has no meaning, nothing truly matters. Right and wrong, good and bad, these are all illusions created by the human mind, and in the end, everything turns into nothingness. Today, we are not talking about bookish philosophy. Today, we will descend into that abyss which even looking into feels terrifying. We will face a truth that can shake our entire world. This may make you uncomfortable, it may take away your sleep, but if you stay till the end, you might also see a new light of freedom beyond that darkness. So let us begin this journey into the truth of nihilism. For centuries, for thousands of years, humans created a beautiful story to escape this emptiness. A story where there was a higher power, a creator watching over us. Our lives were part of a grand plan. Good deeds would be rewarded and bad deeds punished. Death was not the end, but a new beginning. This story was like a warm blanket, protecting us from the cold and harsh reality of the universe. It was a ship that made us believe we were not alone in this unknown ocean. Someone was there to guide us on the right path. This ship gave us safety, community, and a purpose to live. It told us what is right and what is wrong. It gave meaning to our suffering, that it is a test, an examination. Under the shadow of this belief, life felt easier. But then, in the 19th century, a German philosopher came whose words were like a hammer. His name was Friedrich Nietzsche. He made a declaration that was no less than an earthquake. He said, "God is dead, God remains dead, and we have killed him." This was not a joke. Nietzsche was not saying that a being in the sky had died. He meant that science, logic, and modern thinking had shaken the very foundation of belief upon which our entire civilization, our moral values, and the meaning of life stood. By questioning everything, by demanding proof, we ourselves pulled away that warm blanket. We pushed that ship away and shouted that we do not need it anymore. And now we stand alone on the shore of a cold and merciless ocean. That ship is disappearing into the darkness, and in front of us lies an endless void, emptiness. Nietzsche predicted that after the death of God, humanity would face a terrible crisis. This crisis is called nihilism, when the highest values lose their value, when life has no goal, when our biggest questions of why have no answers. Imagine standing in a desert. There is nothing as far as you can see, no direction, no destination, no path. Above you is a burning sun, and below you is endless sand. You do not know where you came from, where you are going, or what the meaning of this journey is. This feeling, this is the first stage of nihilism, the realization that your life, your efforts, your relationships, your dreams are like footprints in the sand, which a single gust of time will erase. Animals and plants seem completely content with this system. They come into this world, do their part, and leave without asking any questions. But we humans, because of our higher intelligence, are cursed to always ask, "Why am I here? What should I do? What is the purpose of all this?" If life has no meaning, if everything ends in nothingness, then why not squeeze every moment of this short life? Why not focus only on pleasing our senses? This is the path of hedonism. It says, "Eat, drink, and be merry, for tomorrow we die." This path leads us into a world of endless distractions. Late-night parties, drowning in intoxication, binge-watching shows, spending hours on social media comparing our lives with others, the race to buy the latest gadgets, the addiction to fast food. All of these are ways to suppress the voice of that inner emptiness. They are like noise created to fill that terrifying silence. But this is a thirst that never gets quenched. Every morning after a party feels even emptier. Every new phone becomes old within a few weeks. Every web series leaves behind an even bigger void when it ends. It is like running on a treadmill. You get tired, drenched in sweat, but you go nowhere. The third path is becoming a slave to ideologies. Slavery to ideologies. When God dies, new gods are created to take his place. These new gods are nationalism, fascism, communism, or any ism that makes you feel part of a bigger identity and a greater purpose. These ideologies tell you that you are not alone. You are part of a great nation, a great race, or a great revolution. Your life is no longer just yours, but dedicated to a larger goal. They give you enemies to hate and heroes to worship. This is the most dangerous response to the emptiness of nihilism, because when you hand over your ability to think to someone else, you become ready to do anything. History is proof. The greatest massacres of the 20th century were carried out in the name of these ideologies, by people trying to fill the emptiness of their lives through bloodshed in the name of a greater purpose. All three paths, blind faith, endless pleasure, or slavery to ideology, do the same thing. They stop you from facing the terrifying truth that you are alone in this universe and that your life has no predetermined meaning. But what happens if you stop running? What if you stand at the edge of that abyss and dare to look into its depth? Now we enter the darkest and most dangerous aspect of nihilism, a place where morality ends and humanity collapses. This is called moral nihilism. Its principle is very simple. If there is no higher power, no cosmic law, no concept of karma, then right and wrong do not truly exist. They are just words, rules created by society so that people do not kill each other and order can be maintained. Think about the depth of this idea. For a moral nihilist, feeding a hungry person and cutting someone's throat, there is no inherent moral difference between these acts. Kindness and cruelty are not better than one another. Loyalty and betrayal are just two different strategies. Forgiveness and revenge, neither is inherently good. These are all human opinions. There is no universal truth. This way of thinking has given rise to some of the most brutal dictators, serial killers, and criminals in history. If there is no heaven to reward good deeds and no hell to fear, then why should I be good? If I can move ahead by cheating or harming others and not get caught, then why shouldn't I do it? The great Russian writer Fyodor Dostoevsky, in his novel The Brothers Karamazov, had a character say, "If God does not exist, everything is permitted." Everything is permitted. These three words have the power to destroy humanity. In popular culture, the best example is the Joker from The Dark Knight. He does not spread chaos for money. He does not fight for power. He simply wants to prove that the mask of civilization, rules, and morality is very thin. Just one bad day, one push, and any human can become a monster. The Joker is a pure moral nihilist. He says, some men just want to watch the world burn. Why? Because burning and not burning, there is no difference. Everything is a joke. Tyler Durden from Fight Club is also born from this nihilism. He starts a violent rebellion against consumerism, corporate jobs, and the meaninglessness of modern life. His goal is to destroy everything, bring it all to zero so that something new can be created. But the danger is not only in big villains or historical events, this danger exists within us as well. When a young person falls into depression and says, "What's the point? What is the use of doing anything?" he is in the grip of existential nihilism. He feels that his life has no value, that his existence or non-existence makes no difference. This despair, this sadness, this loss of hope, this too is a form of nihilism. This is passive nihilism, which defeats you before you even try. On one side is the active nihilist who says, "If nothing matters, I will destroy everything." On the other side is the passive nihilist who says, "If nothing matters, why should I do anything?" Both paths lead to destruction. One destroys the world, the other destroys himself. So, is this our end? Are we forced either to live in some false belief or to sink into the darkness of despair and destruction? Is there no third path? Nietzsche, who predicted this crisis, believed there is a way. A very difficult, very lonely, but a magnificent path. Here, the story takes a dramatic turn. Where most people see nihilism as an end, a full stop, Nietzsche and some other philosophers saw it as a beginning, a graduation. Nietzsche said that the arrival of nihilism was necessary. Why? Because the values we have lived by until now were always going to lead to this result. We must experience nihilism to understand the true worth of those old values. For Nietzsche, nihilism is not a disease, but a transitional phase. It is part of the process in which a person throws away old, borrowed beliefs and learns to stand on their own feet. Imagine you were given a map since childhood and told that this is the only correct path in life. You follow that map for years. Then one day you realize that the map is false. The place, the destination it promised, does not exist at all. Most people would sit down and cry. They would say everything is ruined. But there will be one person who tears that map apart, looks around and says, "Good, now I will create my own path and my own destination." This person is on the path of becoming the Übermensch, the superhuman. The Übermensch is not a superhero with supernatural powers. He is a person who understands that life has no predetermined meaning, and instead of being sad about it, sees it as an opportunity. He realizes that if life is a blank canvas, then it is not something to cry about, but a chance to create a masterpiece. He does not follow rules of right and wrong made by others. He creates his own values. He does not live as part of the crowd. He shapes his life like a work of art, like a masterpiece. He does not complain about his suffering and struggles. He turns them into his strength. He knows he is alone in this universe, and that very loneliness sets him free. He is no longer a slave to any god, any ideology, or society. Nihilism says, "Nothing matters." The Übermensch responds, "Then I will decide what matters." This is a huge responsibility. Following the crowd is easy, creating your own path is difficult. But this is the greatest challenge and the greatest honor of being human. He turns his punishment into his work. His revolt lies in fully living his pointless task. For us, this means stop searching for the meaning of life and start living life. Instead of feeling depressed that everything is meaningless, feel happy that you are free to do anything. You do not need to walk on a path made by someone else. Every moment, every experience, every joy, every sorrow, everything is valuable. Not because it is part of some greater purpose, but because it simply exists and you have these few years to experience it. So now we return to the same question where we started. If nothing matters, why do we live? Now we have some possible answers. One answer is to believe in a story so that we never have to face this question. The second answer is to drown in despair or go out to destroy the world. But there is a third answer, more difficult and more beautiful. Maybe life has no meaning, and this is not a curse, but a gift. It is a blank book, and the pen is in your hands. Others will tell you what to write. Society, family, religion, nation, they will give you ready-made stories, but you have the freedom to write your own story. This idea can also be connected to a deep principle of Indian philosophy. In the Gita, there is the concept of nishkama karma, perform your actions without worrying about the result. It also means do not act for an external purpose or outcome. Do the work for the joy of doing it. The purpose of life is not to reach a destination, but to take every step of the journey with full awareness and joy. This is a powerful answer to the darkness of nihilism. When you act without caring about the result, you become free from the fear of meaninglessness. Your work itself becomes your reward. So now the ball is in your court. What will you do when you see the emptiness of your life? Will you run away from that void and hide in some comfortable old lie? Will you, in anger, try to harm the world or yourself? Or will you see that void as a canvas on which nothing has been drawn yet, and now you have the chance to create a picture with your own colors, your imagination, your dreams, the picture you always wanted to create? This path is not easy. There is no guidebook on this path. You will have to make your own decisions, learn from your own mistakes, and celebrate your victories alone. This freedom is frightening, but this is true freedom. Nietzsche said, "He who has a why to live for can bear almost any how." Nihilism took away our old why. It told us that the universe has not given us any why, but it gave us the opportunity to create our own why, to choose our own purpose, to give our life a meaning, even if that meaning exists only for us. So the next time you lie awake at night staring at the ceiling and that emptiness tries to surround you, do not be afraid. Look it into its eyes and say, "Yes, I know you are there, but now I am the writer of this story." Maybe life has no pre-written meaning, and maybe that is the most beautiful and liberating truth, because now you are free to create your own meaning. Thank you for watching. If this video made you think, like it and share it with friends who struggle with life's big questions. And do tell in the comments, what does life mean to you? Do not forget to subscribe to the English audiobook channel because we will keep exploring such deep questions. See you in the next video. Thank you very much.